Yo, okay, welcome back to another video. Today we will be building an $80 budget custom keyboard. Many of you have actually asked me to do a review on this keyboard, and the keyboard we will be looking at is called the Nix 75. It costs around $50 and you can find it on AliExpress and whatnot. I'm not too sure about Amazon, but I found it on Taobao. And Taobao, usually you can find the stuff on AliExpress as well. So AliExpress may cost a little more, but it's probably not that pricey. It is a really budget custom keyboard kit. So let's just go ahead and get started and take a look at this keyboard called the Nix 75. We're going to start off with an unboxing. The box actually looks pretty nice. A Nix 75 logo at the front and the words Nix Time also holographic at the back. Pretty sick. So we're gonna go ahead and open it. Once you open it, you will be greeted with your keyboard, and in it you will also find a USB-C cable with a keycap puller. There is no switch puller in this, so if you are building it, you might need a switch puller. You might want to get one. So aside from the accessories, let's take a look at the main $50 you're paying for, the keyboard kit. My first impression so far is that it is extremely light. The plastic feels extremely cheap, but we can't judge a book by its cover. Maybe it sounds really nice, or if the typing experience is pretty good, so I'm not too sure. But judging on exterior wise, the plastic feels really light. It basically has no weight. I'm guessing most of the weight is from the plate itself anyway, so yeah. At the back, you'll find these humongous words that says Nix Time. Not a huge fan, with a small dot in the center. I have no idea what's that about, but we don't really look at the back of our keyboard, so I'm okay with that. You have your USB-C in the center at the back, which is very nice. I do like that. And of course, it has a knob in silver. I got my Nix 75 in white with a silver knob. I'm not too sure about the other variations, but I think there's different colored knobs. So yeah, the overall size is the GMMK Pro size, 75%. Extremely popular nowadays. I think by now I have done about 2 or 3 videos on a 75% with a knob. One thing I see different about this keyboard is the stabilizers. These stabilizers look pretty decent, not your basic black stock stabilizers. Hopefully they do pretty well. So let's just go ahead and open this up. As you could have seen from the back and front shots that I've shown, there are no screws at the front or back. So it is held together by plastic clips, which I just pried open. After prying it open, it is connected to the daughterboard. That's pretty interesting. We're gonna unplug it. Alright, so now that we basically have it somewhat disassembled, we're gonna take a look at the bottom case first. The bottom case has a piece of foam installed and is actually pretty thick. So that's a really nice addition to have. I'm gonna keep it in. I will not touch it. I will not add anything into it. The bottom housing by itself is fine. I'm just gonna leave it. There is also silicone gaskets on this bottom housing. As you can see, it is really easy to remove and put it back on. So it is a somewhat gasket mounted keyboard like the Pcb IK75 and the Fancy 81 that I reviewed recently. This style of keyboard seems to be getting really popular, the 75% with a knob with silicone gaskets. But this is the cheapest variation that I can find out there right now. So I'm going to compare this to the rest in another video. There is nothing too special about the top housing, just your normal silicone gaskets as well, so I'm not going to go through that in depth. We're going to take a look at the PCB plate and the plate foam installed. It is held together by 8 screws at the back. I unscrew all of them. Okay, so now that we have actually disassembled everything, we're gonna go through in depth what every single part does and whatnot. So our plate, it seems to be a steel plate with plate mounted stabilizers. This is actually not bad. Most of the weight is from here. Unlike the IK75 from Fika, the IK75 actually provides a polycarbonate plate for more flex, which I actually do like more. But this only has a steel plate, and of course it does cost cheaper, so that would make sense. Aside from that, there is this really interesting plate foam. It is somewhat like a felt material. It's just really interesting. I haven't seen anything like this, and I have built a decent amount of keyboards. So I would usually remove plate foam, but this time around I'm actually gonna keep this in because I'm really interested to see how it does and what kind of differences it will make. So I'm gonna keep this in. As for our PCB, it is a 75% hot swappable PCB with 5-pin north-facing sockets. Yes. As for our sockets, they are your basic Kale hot swap sockets, so I don't think they can go wrong. Now that we have went through everything, the next thing is to assemble the keyboard back together and actually build this thing. So we're gonna start with stabilizers. I am actually not gonna loop the stabilizers. The loop job seems to be pretty good. I'm just gonna leave it and see how it does. I'm only going to do 2 mods to this keyboard, and one of it is a Pe4 mod. I'm gonna be using PE foam for my alphas. I do not have any 75% pre-cut PE foam, so I'm gonna use it for my alphas only. After installing my PE foam, I put on the plate foam and installed the plate. Put it all back together, and I only put in 4 screws, 1 at each corner. I don't want to make it too stiff, but I don't think there'll be any flex at all anyway. After all that, I'm going to be installing switches, and as for my switches, I will be going with JWICK yellows. They have been looped with Kratox 205 grade 0. These are really cheap switches. JWICK produce really cheap, good budget switches. This is not sponsored, but K.Tex did send me the switches. They cost about $17 for 70 pieces, so it's really cheap. It is a 5-pin linear switch with a 65-gram spring, a top housing of polycarbonate, bottom housing of nylon, and a palm stem. I looped all of them with Kratox 205 grade 0, and we will be using these switches. Unfortunately, I only do have 70, so I will be installing some Gateron Milky Yellows at the same time. But I will make sure that the Gateron Milky Yellows are not on my alphas, so you guys won't hear it during the typing test. So I installed the switches onto my PCB. And after that, we are on to our second mod. The only other mod I'm going to do is a tape mod. I will be installing 2 layers of tape, not 3, because I feel like that might ruin flex as well, even though that might not be any flex at all. Alright, so after 2 layers of tape, I reinstalled the whole keyboard back together. I plugged in the daughter board, placed in my PCB and plate, installed my top housing, and clipped it back in. Now we can move on to keycaps. I'm going to be using some clones. Don't cancel me. I'm using clones again because I'm building a budget board. Alright, I can use other stuff, but I wanted to use striker because blue and striker on a white board looks really nice. So I decided to use my striker clones on this keyboard. They are a PBT material. For those of you who don't know, PBT is your budget option for keycaps. And yeah, that's about it. I installed the knob back together. Here is some cinematics, B-roll, and the typing test. Alright, so we have come to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what are your thoughts on this board. I think it sounds pretty talky actually. I was actually kind of shocked. I'm not too sure if it was the felt plate foam that they provided or was it just the tape mod and the PE foam. But I think this overall build that if you guys want to copy will produce somewhat of a thought for you. So if you're interested in copying the build, all this stuff will be linked in the description down below. And yeah, subscribe if you're interested in budget boards. I actually do a lot of budget boards review. You can go check them out. I'll link a playlist for all the budget boards I have reviewed. Like this video if you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to comment your thoughts on this board, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.